I begin this episode under quite a bit of stress, not only because of what we have in front of us, that being the Vancouver Canucks, because for the first time in this series, we actually made it out of the first round, but that prior episode where we made it out of the first round is being called arguably my best episode of any series ever. My piece de resistance, if you will, and there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to live up to that. Famous last words, perhaps? Who the hell knows what this game has in store for us today. I will say, though, because this worked, drop a like on the video. If you enjoyed the last episode, drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, drop a like on the video. I am tired of seeing those comments saying, how don't you have more subs? Because some people aren't pulling their own weight. Hit the like button. Do it. Anyway, the Vancouver Canucks, we again finally made it out of the first round in one of the wildest series. A lot of the details, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't remember. There's a big chunk of that series that is just an outright blur. Now, in both series that we've had going on to start NHL 20, I have gotten a little bit of slack, perhaps rightfully so, in terms of, mixing and matching the lines and maybe just not giving people a chance to succeed. Although, in saying that, I think we've seen in the Shark series that more often than not, I've been right in terms of like, oh, okay, cool, Evander Kane, how many times a certain player is going to fail in the playoffs? Kane was actually okay, but you get the point. I calls it as I sees it, and a lot of players who had routinely not gotten stuff done, oftentimes I kicked them to the side. Thankfully, the only guy who got kicked to the side in that first round matchup was John Leonard, who, in fairness, he was just kind of meh. He wasn't horrible or anything, not an active detriment. But as far as how we've done thus far, Timo Meier, 6 points in 6 games. Logan Couture, the 35-year-old captain, 8 points. 8 points for David Pastrnak. 4 points for Dylan Gambrell, 5 and 4 goals for Tomas Hertl, which is insane. Yeah, the 5 points for Matt Zuccarello, one hell of a deadline pickup at 36 years old. The third line, Donato, Perfetti had the 3 goals, and Blichfeld hadn't done much. He really had a highlight reel moment in an overtime. I remember that at least. Isn't that right, Joachim? Short leash for you today, buddy, because we do have Ivan Chikovic waiting in the wings, and we know how good he is. That fourth line, Alex True, was solid once we brought him in to replace Leonard. Noah Gregor also had an infamous moment in that overtime, but hey, he's doing okay. And then Sasha Chmelevski, also on the chopping block. So, you look at certain guys, Blichfeld, Chmelevski, we need to see a little bit better of a performance from them, because not only are they playing for their jobs in this postseason, they're playing for their jobs moving forward. Connor Ellison, Jean-Luc Foudy, Toni Heinonen, these guys are on the verge of making it. They will be competing for spots next year. So it's not just about finding success in this postseason. It's about the future for a lot of these guys on this team moving forward. Let's take a look at the Vancouver Canucks. We know that they have a very strong team. We beat them in Game 82 to make it to this point that we're at right now with home ice advantage. And this is what we're up against. The lineup, I think you would kind of expect based off of what we saw at the end of the season. We'll take a look at the stats. Jesus Christ. 9 points for Brock Besser in the first round. Pettersson without a goal, but point a game. And Keith Pritchett, again, the former first overall pick. That top line is deadly. Second line, Sven Baertschi with 5 points. 4 points for 90 overall. Bo Horvat, who's only a second liner somehow. Doesn't make any sense. The morale system, if he's an 87 legit, he should still be a first liner. That makes no sense. JT Miller with 4 points as well. He's an 89. The third line, Evander Kane. Now, from a defensive standpoint, not very solid for them this past season. Like I said, he often wasn't the biggest issue. It's just, okay, we're blowing it up. Let's get rid of Evander Kane. And could have gone a little bit better for us. Adam Gaudette with 3 points. Cole Lind with 3 points as well. And on the fourth line, Tanner Pearson, Pavel Zacha, and Vasily Podkolzin. The defense. Doesn't get any easier, does it? Quinn Hughes and Olli Juolevi. Second pairing of Jet Wu and Tyler Myers. Ryan Murray next to Keandre Miller, who has yet to play, actually, because they have an injury to the 38-year-old Alex Edler. Jake Virtanen, Mike Riley, healthy scratches. The goaltender, that's your Demko. It is not. It is Philip Grubauer, who had a .921 save percentage in the first round. This is going to be a slugfest, and one of these two teams, well, if they were real players, they would walk away extremely disappointed. Both of these squads have cup aspirations, and rightfully so. But somebody is going to have those dreams dashed in this series, and I'm afraid it might be us. Time will tell, won't it? Time will tell. The key is pretty simple, pretty straightforward to this series. It's the defense, and it's the goaltending. Now, obviously, our defense, we moved it around a bit, but Brian Dumoulin had a great first round. Carlson was looking good. Klefbom and Gustafsson, we need to see a little bit more, but obviously we're giving some of these guys an opportunity. Henrik Gustafsson needs to be better. It's a miracle we made it out of the first round. With him being as bad as he was, it's a chance for redemption against a much more difficult team to beat. So let's do this. Game 1 of our second round matchup against the Canucks. I'm horrified. I'm petrified. Oh, God. Here we go. First period of Game 1 goes to the Canucks as Evander Kane gets the opening goal. Tomas Hertl scores on the power play to tie it. But a minute later, less than a minute later, Jet Wu is able to restore the lead for Vancouver. 10 shots to 8 and 2-1 lead on the board for them. Second period, we are tied. Brian Dumoulin, who the hell saw that coming? I will take it. And it is actually Demko that's in, which is shocking. I mean, they're both 82 overall, but Demko getting the start in this series. We are tied at 2. Very low offensive outputs thus far. 19 shots to 13. Tied at 2 on the board. If we can just put up shots, we know we can beat Demko. Let's see what happens. Heading into the third period. Can we get the next goal? We cannot. It's Pritchett for the Canucks. It's a huge goal for them. Somebody step up, please. Power play. 5-on-3. 5-on-3. Please, you have to score. You have to score. That's going to be it, isn't it? That's going to be it. 3, 2, 1. Damn it. Vancouver takes Game 1 on the road by the score of 3-2. Not great from Gustafsson, and unfortunately, we just couldn't get that extra bit of offense. Evander Kane shows up and makes me regret the day that we traded him, at least for now. Vancouver takes Game 1. Erik Karlsson continued to play at a high level. Unfortunately, that Gustafsson-Klefbom pairing, they're already done. They're already done. Like, I know Gustafsson didn't have a great game. Technically, his save percentage will be going up. I know it's overly reactionary in a way, but it's not because we had the first 6 games of the playoffs. That second pairing needs to change. I don't know how the hell we're going to do it because Dumoulin's playing so well next to Erik Karlsson. But yeah, that second pairing's got to go. Has to. So we are going to lose that +5. This sucks. This sucks. We do have Brandon Carlo that we can go with. And to be honest, I think that's the option I want to take. We're going to go with Brandon Carlo getting back into this lineup. Klefbom, how did you do for us this year? I mean, you had 31 points in 82 games. Jesus, what happened? And then Erik Gustafsson had 12 points in 31. You were both great in the regular season for us, and now in the playoffs, non-existent. I mean, you both fit in on that line the same way. I'm going to go with Klefbom because he's under contract for longer than this season, so if Gustafsson's got to go, then he's got to go. We're going to bring in Carlo, who unfortunately isn't a great fit on any line in particular. But we are going to move Oscar Klefbom to being an offensive defenseman. And that should get us a little bit of an extra boost. It might only be a +1. Joachim Blichfeld's sitting out of this next game. we're making that change too. I think Sasha Chmielewski might be done as well. All right, yeah, we're making changes. I know some of you are going to be pissed. I get it. We just made it out of the first round. But I'm not happy with that last game. And it's not as if it was one game. Chikovic has played 7 games. Not Chikovic. Chmielewski's played 7 games. There needs to be something done. There needs to be something done. Now, quickly, we're looking at Latunov potentially. How good's Ellison? Not overly physical. Dale Weiss. Heinonen, go figure, could play a bit of a grind role. I'm looking at Zach Gallant. I know he's technically not the best player for the role in terms of overall, but alright, tell you what. Just because I don't want to make too many ridiculous changes. Chmielewski's going to sit. John Leonard is back in the lineup. Make the most of your opportunity, sir. That would be great. Joachim Blichfeld is going to be taking a seat for Ivan Chikovic. And unfortunately, we do lose a plus on that line. But that's okay. And then defensively, the only thing I want to change is Clefbaum being an offensive defenseman. I might have to double check the power play, too. This is not going to help my case with those of you who, again, hate these changes, especially after one game. I get it. I get it. But you can't blame me for panicking. And if panicking costs us, then hey, so be it. Is it absurd? Is it unnecessary to be concerned after 7 games and technically just 1 in this series? Maybe, maybe not. But damn it, we have failed so consistently and so harshly thus far that, you know, I want good things to happen. So there we go. Couple of new faces into the lineup. It's not as if it actively makes the team that much worse, as I believe the Barracuda are also moving on. They're moving on to round 2. They'll be taking on the Bakersfield Condors. Haven't been paying much attention to them. But really, there's been no reason to because we've been so consistently good. But I'll try to pay attention to them a bit later on. It's game 2, first period here in San Jose, and that is much, much better. 3 power play goals. Pasternak, Meyer, and Hertl pulled Colson, lone goal for the Canucks. That is much better. You look at that 5-on-3 that we had in the third period of the last game. To not score on that, backbreaker. We make them pay on the power play early on in this game. But we have a long way to go, don't we? Second period. That helps a lot. A 4th power play goal in his 2nd of the game. Tomas Hertl. We're up by 3 heading into the third period. I didn't even check the power play lines. Guess what? Not going to. It's working out pretty well. We go to the third. Matt Zuccarello. Let's go. Even strength, 58 seconds in, and the offense has woken up. Zuccarello, I guess, front kicked the goalie out of the way. Pettersson gets his first goal of this postseason. Hopefully, that'll be too little, too late. With 5.5 minutes left, that's exactly what it looks like. Holy Levy, don't do this to me, please. Yes. 5-3 is your final. A win in the books for the Sharks. Advantage to the Canucks, though, for taking a game on the road. But we get the job done ultimately. 3-point nights for Hertl, Meyer, and Erik Karlsson at the very least. Oh, thank God. It's a 1-1 split after the opening 2 games. The story of this series, though, Henrik Gustafsson. Not exactly living up to the hype that he generated in the regular season. We won't be making any changes here, more than likely. I am just more intrigued at looking at the power play. Yeah, Carlo is there. Now, I gotta admit, though, that power play didn't do much, and Carlo and Clefbaum actually didn't do all that well together. Jesus, Oscar Clefbaum, what is the matter with you right now? What is the matter with you? That is so brutal. Perfetti and Donato are going to get power play time. because Clefbaum wasn't really even involved in getting points there. So I don't regret necessarily taking him out. So let's get one Cole Perfetti onto this team. That would be 2 + 3 is perfect. Perfetti will be on that top unit. That'll be very, very good for him. Yeah, I could bump up Logan Couture, but I won't. So there we go. That's the new power play unit. Really, just the only change is to bump Carlo and Clefbaum out of there because they're just not getting the job done in that role. We go to Game 3. The first of 2 consecutive here in Vancouver. And we need a win. Please, God, we need a win. Get control of this series. First period, scoreless. Don't know how many people predicted that. I certainly didn't. 10 shots to 6. Second period, advantage San Jose. Dylan Gambrell has the lone goal thus far. 19 shots to 13. We have had moments of this being a defensive battle. Thankfully, right now, we're ahead of the game. We go to the third, up by 1. Can we get the insurance goal that we need? Can Henrik Gustafsson put on the performance that we so desperately need from him? Brock Besser ties the game. Vander Kane, Oh my God, you gotta be fucking me. Logan Couture. Is it too little? Too late? Probably. Adam Gaudette's empty netter seals it. Oh my God. Here we go. A 4-goal third period for the Canucks. They steal Game 3 right out from underneath us. And my doubts over Henrik Gustafsson, at least right now, have never been higher. Jesus. It's so brutal. That top line, while it's been effective on the power play, defensively isn't looking that good. Chikovic, unfortunately, hasn't been able to do anything. Just in general, that third line needs a spark, and unfortunately it's not going to be Chikovic, apparently, that provides it. Might have to look at one of our younger guys, Connor Ellison. I mean, I know we have guys like Sorensen, Radil. I don't care. I could throw Jean-Luc Foudy into that situation. Let's take a look at the fourth line here really quickly. Yeah, that fourth line's having a rough series too. John Leonard hasn't been great. This is going to piss some people off, but that's fine. I don't care. I don't care. Leonard's done. Chmelevski's probably not getting back into this lineup. We are going to go with Zach Gallant for the fourth line. And tough call, but because of the skating, we're going with Jean-Luc Foudy to get the call up. So this will obviously affect both teams currently, but that's fine. And then defensively, Carlo's been okay. Clefbaum was a little bit better in that game, but man, Gustafsson and Clefbaum struggling. That's the one issue. We really don't have anybody else that we can call up right now to get the job done. It was, we have Carlo waiting in the wings. That needs to be good enough. So far, not so much. But Zach Gallant is going to get that chance on the fourth line. He already fits in with the team, which is beautiful. Technically, he has better face-offs than Noah Gregor, who is a phenomenal skater, by the way. And then the third line, Chikovic, is going to be out for Jean-Luc Foudy, who fits in well. We're probably going to change him to a two-way, but so be it. And then defensively, again, Demoulin's been fine. Carlson looking pretty good. Clefbaum and Carlo, I have some concerns. I mean, even with Letang and Nurse, I have some concerns, but there's not really too much I can do. as the dog makes her presence known. Let's see, man. What do we do? I mean, really the only thing I could do, if I wanted to, would be, swap Nurse and Carlo, but we know that Nurse and Clefbaum didn't work that well together, so I think that's safe. Only thing I'm going to do is change Jean-Luc Foudy to a two-way, just to see if that gets a little bit of an extra boost. I'm just wondering if I want to change anything here. We're going to leave that. I'm going to reunite Hurdle with Meyer and Pasternak, and we're going to see what that does. So quickly, we're going to have Foudy change to a two-way, just so that he fits the role. Again, I think ideally in the future he would be more of an offensive threat, but much like Perfetti right now, he can play a little bit of a defensive role, and he will do just that for us. I know, like I said, a lot of people aren't happy with the way I've handled things this year, and if players aren't getting the job done, I move on from them too quickly. I get it. I think with the John Leonard situation, I'm probably pretty justified. We'll see if it comes back to haunt me. We're down 2-1 in this series. This is a crucial Game 4 that we so desperately need to win. First period, goal apiece. Evander Kane on the power play. Logan Couture is able to tie it. Pretty much even in shots. Even on the board is a certainty. Second period, advantage Vancouver. Brock Besser scores. We go to the third. If we lose here, it's tough to see a way out of this situation. This has to be a win. We have to turn this around. David Pasternak, where are you right about now, Sven? Oh my God. We're screwed. We're screwed. Yeah, this one's over. The Vancouver Canucks are going to have a 3-1 series lead. The offense just isn't there. It's just not there. David Pasternak's gone cold, and it's just not going to happen. 25 save effort from Thatcher Demko and a 3-1 victory. The Canucks are 1 win away from a conference final. We are 1 loss away from me ending up in a padded cell. Don't worry, I'll make sure somehow there can be visitation. And obviously those are Foudy's AHL stats. I don't know what to do. The only option is just to move out people. I mean, that's the issue right there. Henrik Gustafsson has been very Martin Jones-esque. That's our big issue. Damn it. This sucks. This really, really sucks. Zach Gallant wasn't that great in that last game. The only real option here is to just potentially reunite lines the way that we had them, but even then it's not necessarily ideal now, is it? Dude, this sucks. I don't know. We're just gonna go with the best team possible in terms of overall, and just hope for the best. Because I mean, we're facing such an uphill battle as it is that overthinking it probably isn't our best bet. What is interesting though is just how quickly we got back to this point. We weren't supposed to be back to this point of failing, being such a negative for us. Yet here we are. Because that's what it is. Heading into this offseason, it's like, okay, if we fail, it's fine. Or not fine. After that offseason, or really heading into that offseason, it was, okay, we're expected to be bad next year, more than likely, that's fine. And then the way this team turned around, it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe not. And now it's just, it's a heartbreaker. Our team's set up with the best overalls they pretty much possibly can have. I'm going to put Darnell Nurse with Erik Karlsson, I guess, even though Brian Dumoulin's been phenomenal. There it is. That is the team. Could probably change Clefbaum back to a two-way. Doesn't matter. I don't know. Game 5. Must win to keep our season alive. Can we do it? Or are we going to fall short here? First period, 1-0 lead. Dylan Gambrell scores again. He's been one of our best in this series. Second period, by the way, that was 16 shots to 6. That was a dominant effort from us. Second period, we're tied at 2. Brian Dumoulin scores to give us a 2-0 lead. Alex Edler and Sven Berchke both score. This game is tied, despite us outshooting them 25-16. So we go to the third. Season on the line. Perhaps the last game in San Jose for quite a few players in this lineup. If we don't score this next goal and hold on to win, 7 minutes left. The next goal is going to win this. Are we going to overtime? No. No, we're not. The Vancouver Canucks won it in 5 games. This team just shit the bed. It's like all the effort was just put into that first round. And really, while it is technically our most successful season to date, it doesn't make me feel any better. Nobody did well enough. We're not giving up on Henrik Gustafsson, but what can you even say to that? Vancouver will play Minnesota in the conference final, and our season is over. Ryan Donato, unfortunately, very much did not work out. Man, that sucks. Brian Dumoulin outscored. Chris Letang disappeared. He was so good. He was so good in the regular season, and he just disappeared. Letang disappeared. Clefbaum, Gustafsson, some of our high-powered, scoring defensemen flat out disappeared. But I mean, when you're giving up 3.5 goals per game, what can you really do, right? All right. That's more depressing than I thought it was going to be. We'll sim to the end at the beginning of next episode because I don't care. It's still set up to be a very good draft for us. But again, there are going to be some tough decisions that have to be made because ultimately this team was set up to kind of be a one-season wonder. Is Eliasson going to be the backup next year? I don't know. We do have to figure out a goalie situation. I mean, I was going to say we've barely had a reliable backup. We've barely had a reliable starter. I mean, Letang, Gustafsson, Carlo, Dumoulin, probably all gone. Probably. And I mean, even though Dumoulin was fine. And then obviously in the system, I mean, outside of Houston, Benning is there as well. Might be worthy of a look next season. We don't know what kind of change they're going to be made. Ryan Donato and Matt Zuccarello's deals are up. Probably won't be bringing back Zook at that age, and Donato doesn't deserve to come back. I don't know exactly what's going to happen in this offseason, but all I know is that I wasn't ready for this offseason. But it's here because we just got stomped by the Canucks.